and welcome to another edition of the Silverbird Selection. Today I'll be reviewing the Silverbird release from 1988, which is Antiriad. This is a re-release of Palace Software's The Sacred Armour of Antiriad, which was originally released in 1986. Pretty well known game and one that a lot of Commodore 64 gamers enjoy, although I've never really played it before, so we'll see how it turns out when I review it in a moment. This game cost me £4.50. It's relatively uncommon. The copies are out there, but they are relatively hard to find. It does command a reasonably high price because of its perceived value in terms of how good a game it is. So let's check it out and see what my thoughts about the game are. Right then, let's start by looking at the front cover, and I think this one's not too bad for a Silverbird release. Obviously you've got the usual black and pink stripy background, but this is a recreation of the front cover artwork from the original game. They've taken some bits of it and used it at least, and you can see the Antiriad logo there in the Iron Maiden style font, and a picture of the hero with the armour in the background. So pretty nicely done, and that blends in quite nicely with the purple and black stripes for a change. On the spine there you've got the Antiriad logo, and on the back we've got the 4 screenshots. These look like the Spectrum screenshots to me, based on the colours. And the blurb just says, locate the sacred armour and use its legendary powers to free your race. Inside the inlay then we've got the usual exciting Silverbird titles with the screenshots. Not so exciting when you see what they are though. Hopper, Copper and Skateboard Joust, both pretty terrible. Night Gunner and Rebel Star 2 not released for the Commodore 64. So moving inside, we've got a very detailed overview of the game, backstory and so on. I'm not going to read it all out, but in summary, you're in a post-apocalyptic future, and the key element of all this is at the bottom here where it says, yeah, you've got to find the armour of Antiriad and use its power to destroy the central generator of the tyrants. So there you go. Loading instructions, pretty straightforward as usual, and also the gameplay instructions, it basically just gives you the controls for moving around and throwing things and stuff like that, and how to enter the armour, and Q quits the game. So pretty simplistic gameplay instructions, very detailed backstory. Let's see how that all pans out when we load the game. As you can see, the game is loading, and as you can see, it's the typical boring loading screen that you expect from a Silverbird release. It just says now loading Antiriad, copyright Palace Software, produced under license by Silverbird Software, in very boring white text. So the game loads and you're presented with a pretty elaborate title screen. You can see it says Antiriad at the top, not the Sacred Armour of Antiriad, so I'm not sure where that larger title that the original game was released under came from. Basically because there's some Sacred Armour, I suppose, which the guy, your hero character, has just jumped into. There's kind of a little beastie going across the top of him, but this is just an introductory animation. Quite similar to a couple of other games released by Palace Software, the Cauldron games, and the reason for that will become clear in a few moments when we see the credits, which we do get to eventually. The hero's flown off in his armour. Honestly, it's coming. Here we go. So here's the credits. You can see programming by Stanley Shembry, plot and graphics by Daniel Malone, sound design by Richard Joseph, and Richard Joseph did the sound on Cauldron 2 and Stanley Shembry did the programming on Cauldron 2, which is probably why this has a bit of similarity in terms of the title screen, and it doesn't stop there because it's got some similarities when you get into the game as well. So pretty nice tune in the background by Richard Joseph. Probably not quite as good as the Cauldron one, I don't think, or the Cauldron 2 one I should say, but still pretty nice. And you just get a repeat of that introductory animation, which is a very nice way of setting the scene for the game. But we've probably seen enough of it now, so let's get on and start the game. So the game begins and you materialise in a jungle. You can see some things bouncing around and moving around, very similar to Cauldron in as much as this is a flick screen platform style game. It's a lot easier to control than Cauldron, although there are still a few issues with the controls here and there I'll get into in due course. This drip, by the way, that seems to be dripping endlessly, this yellow drip, does look a little bit like the pumpkin from Cauldron 2. There's also a nicely animated beast of some kind reaching down, and if that touches then you lose some health. There's also a random sort of thing floating around at the far side. So the idea of the game is to find the sacred armor and then use it to save your race or your people or the planet or something along those lines. So let's crack on. So movement is left and right with the joystick to move left and right. You can fire a rather annoying arcing projectile. It's basically throwing stones. You do seem to be some kind of caveman creature. There you go. I threw it and hit that enemy, but I had to be right on the opposite side of the screen. Some enemies can be killed, some will just have to be avoided. Apart from moving left and right, you can also push up to jump. You can push down to crouch. That helps you pick things up later on as well. And also, if you're moving left or right and you press fire, then you also jump like so. That can become a bit tricky in various places. Overall, quite nice graphics. Bit of a spectrumy look to some of them with the single colours, but also there's some good detail on the backgrounds, in particular these sort of trees with faces in, which remind me a little bit of Ghosts and Goblins. So let's progress through. So one thing that is very similar to Cauldron as well is the respawning enemies. These enemies constantly respawn every time you come on the screen. Some of them follow your movements like the one at the top there. Some of them home in on you, and some of them just kind of move around. So we'll just carry on. I will just run into spawning enemies on the screen periodically. Not much I can do about that. That E up the top there is a pickup, but I can't pick it up yet for reasons which will become apparent in due course. This is an interesting enemy. It just kind of throws daggers down at you, which you can avoid, but if you get your shot right, which is easier said than done, as I've said. Oh, it's probably easier just to run past it, but I can't. There you go. If you shoot the dagger, then it stops chucking them down at you, so that's handy. Then you can just jump up and easily run underneath it. I think it probably still kills you if it comes into contact with you or drains health. You've got health, but you've also got certain enemies that just kill you outright, I think. There you go, one of those things just materialised on top of me. Not particularly fair, but that's seems to be a recurring theme on a lot of these Palace Software games. The main character, by the way, kind of looks a little bit like Barbarian, which was a game that was also done by Stanley Shembry. Can't say his name, but that's what he did. So there's an annoying sounding enemy here. There's like a robot at the top there that kind of runs backwards and forwards and follows you. He's annoying. Annoying noise wise and annoying because he chases you as well. So we'll continue moving on. Here we've come into some. Oh, there you go, there goes my first life. I've lost some energy. There's not really any indication at the moment of what energy you've got. Again, that'll resolve itself momentarily when we get to the right point. So we've entered an area which is obviously some kind of palace or castle or whatever. I just want to shoot this thing. Most enemies take a couple of shots. There we go. So now what I can do is just jump up here, and if I can get my timing right. I only know this from playing it before. Not that I've played it a lot, but I've played it enough to work this out. Oh, for God's sake. Let's just try and jump there. No, I didn't manage it. So here you can see the armour, basically, is what I'm trying to get at, and I want to jump up and get onto that. But this is a thing that's a bit annoying about the game, is that if I try and... There we go, see, if I try and just jump onto that platform, kind of the edge of one screen is shared with the edge of the next, and it's kind of flick screen, but it doesn't flick right at the edge of the screen. I should be able to get this right now. If I can oh no, I've messed it up again. Just need to position yourself right on the edge. Oh, it can be quite annoying. That's not going to be close enough to the edge for me to then be able to scroll the screen at the right point, or flick it I should say. Oh, this is getting intensely annoying now. And there are definitely annoying bits to the game. Once it gets going, it's not too bad. But I might just be stuck here forever. Oh, it's not going to work unless I'm right on the edge of this platform here. Oh, it's infuriating. There we go. See, I've now looped back onto this screen, and I can't get up to the armor without jumping off that platform there. So let's go back again. But then this thing respawns. Just need to be just that a little bit. There we go. Is that going to do it? Yeah, there we go. Right, now I just need to run and jump, and because you have to be moving when you press the fire button to jump, you've got to start running. And then no, I've done it again. Oh god, trust me, when it gets past this bit, it's really not as annoying, but oh, it's like sometimes you'll just jump straight up and not move, and then other times you'll be trying to move and he won't jump. And yeah, it's a bit twitchy with the controls. I will get this done eventually, hopefully. Oh, here we go again. This could just be an infinite loop of the most boring gameplay you'll ever see. Let's try again. There we go, finally. So I've got to the suit, and as you can see, if you stand near the suit and face forwards, you get into the suit, and then the suit boots up, and your status bar all lights up at the bottom. It says suit energy low. Start to get some points now. The suit's active. I've got now a health bar for both the suit and myself. I think the suit's the top one and the bottom one's the health bar for myself. But right now, if I try and move, I just come out of the suit straight away. And if I try and push up, because the suit's supposed to fly, it says gravity prevents takeoff. So what I've got to do now is leave the suit and go and find some gravity reduction stuff. I don't really know what you call it, but basically you've got to find items to equip. Oh, I've just got to jump back in the bloody thing now. You've got to go and find items to equip the suit with, so you can actually go and move around in it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to head over here. Try not to get killed too much by respawning enemies. So here you can't make it across that gap, so you've actually got to drop off. Every time you come back on this screen, this thing will respawn, which again is a bit infuriating, especially here where it respawns on top of you. But there you go, I finally got across. I've lost half my health there, you can see. You can at any point go back to the suit and recharge your personal health, if you want to call it that. So I've picked up one of those energy things, but that's only for the suit, that's not for me. Oh, for God's sake, now I fell off here. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Right, let's try that again. Need to try and get this red thing before... No, I'm not going to get past it, it's going to kill me. Oh, there you go, there goes another life now. So I still don't know how many lives I've got left. I think it tells you now, actually, you've got 2 rejuvenations remaining. Okay, so that screen's empty, so let's get past that. On to the next one. These enemies are all fairly easy to shoot because they don't move around too much. There we go, got rid of him as well. Let's go to the top here. Oh, I can't go there. So you can only pick up one of these energy pods at a time. You can see I've already got one, it said on that message there. So now I've got to go back on this screen. As you can see, respawning enemies are the bane of this game to some extent. They're nowhere near as bad as Cauldron, that's for sure. There are some that respawn on top of you, which is always annoying. But overall, it's not as bad. Although the controls are a bit twitchy at times, compared to Cauldron, it's light years better. At least you're not bouncing incessantly. So all I've got to do is get across here, I think. There we go, jump across this gap, and there we go. So there's a bunch of enemies to dispatch here. I'll just try and get rid of as many of them as I can. There we go, got rid of all those. And you can see a little flashing thing next to that tree at the far side. So hopefully, well, I know because I've played it before, that's now the thing that I need to go and get the suit working. So now all I've got to do is get back there, and I've got very little health left to do that. So I'm back at this screen which you've seen before, and I'm about to get back and get in the suit, which should give me, hopefully, if I can get this right. Oh, this jumping, it's so infuriating at times. Oh, there we go, jump in there, get in the suit. And I've now got the gravity displacer activated, which basically looks like jet boots as far as I can tell. My health's replenishing. I'm down to my last life, by the way, which is not ideal, but at least I've now got the suit, which opens up a lot more of the game now to go and explore. This is where it gets a little bit more interesting. Oh, and the first thing I've done is immediately exit the suit, which was a bit of a silly thing to do. I did not mean to do that. That just happens a lot because I keep forgetting that you can't move left and right when you're on the ground. You can only move left and right when you're in the air. I'm just waiting for me health to replenish. You can see it going up there on the second bar down on the left. And when that's happened,
I shall take off. There we go, that's good enough. So straight away I can get now to screens that I couldn't get to before. I still need to top up on energy periodically because the health of the suit, get my words out, does diminish over time. What's strange about the suit is in some places you can't go past the scenery, and in other places you can, like so. So that's a bit strange, and there's no obvious way to discern between something you can go through and something you can't, so you just have to learn that as you go. There we go, that's replenished the health on the suit, so I've got a bit more time to explore now. What you can't do at the moment is shoot anything, because you've got no guns, and if I can prove that if I can just stand still. If I press fire, it says pulsar beam not fitted, so I'm going to try, there we go, I think this is it here. I'm going to try and pick this thing up, and that should hopefully give me guns, and then we can really start getting into the good stuff. Oh, I'm kind of stuck bouncing around at the moment. You do get a bit bouncy in places. Just need to try not to get shot by this thing too much, otherwise I'm going to end up getting killed. No, I can't pick it up for some reason. I presume I need to be just me rather than in the suit. Let's just drop the suit here if we can. There we go. Move out of the suit. Just got to get past this thing without being killed, which looks ominous. How am I going to do this? I feel the worst here. Ah, pick it up. Oh, I made it. Oh, no, back to the suit please. There we go, back in the suit. So now I'm able to shoot stuff. I'm just waiting for the energy to replenish a bit again. Can I do that while I'm moving around? I can, so I'll just do it while I'm moving around. Helpfully there's an energy thing. So I've now got bullets, I've got flying. The world is my oyster pretty much, so let's see what we can find as we explore. I can shoot stuff, I can earn lots of points. And oh look, there's a pumpkin at the top right there. Definitely some references to Cauldron in this game. Yeah, this makes life a lot easier, although for some reason I'm pushing up but moving down at the moment. That's a bit peculiar. Yeah, the controls are a little bit glitchy, but once you get used to them, and it takes a couple of games to do that, along with the flick screen, then it's quite a decent game. That was a waste picking that thing up. I'd got no missing health then. So yeah, I'm just going to move around, see what I can find. I've not played the game much further than this in previous playthroughs, so I'm just kind of winging it and see what I get to. I know there are areas that are heavy in radiation and you can't get out of the suit in those areas, so we'll see what happens. So far it doesn't seem to be too challenging. Let's see if we can get up here. Oh, there's a spike. So I guess the idea of the game now is to navigate around, and oh dear, the suit's in bad shape now. I really need that health over there. Get rid of that thing. Avoid that spike. Well, that's just in the nick of time. I like the animation of these dragon head things here with the flames coming out. That's really nice. Yeah, sound I haven't really mentioned. It's basically just spot effects within the game. The tune before the game starts is quite nice. The sounds here are pretty good. I think there's some nice sounds. There's also some annoying sounds like those robots that move backwards and forwards. They're really irritating. Wow, this looks like a challenging screen. I think I'm going to go a different way. Although I have to say that looks challenging as well. So let's go this way. Can I get up here? Nope. Okay, so to get through here, I've got to get past that dragon. Oh, I've inadvertently left the suit there. And what's happened now? Oh, I'm back in the suit. I was going to say, I seem to disappear. Oh no, I'm out of it again. Get back in, please. There we go. Because I think this is a high radiation area. Yeah, takes a little bit of time to get to grips with the suit. It's fair to say. But overall, once you get into it, it's quite a cool game. I think it's definitely hard and can be infuriating at times. But once you're fully powered up with the suit, it's pretty cool. so I'm just going to carry on exploring and see what I can find, because I don't think I've ever been to this screen before. Oh, there's lots of things that are trying to kill me here. Oh, getting through that gap's hard. Oh dear, I'm going to end up running out of health here if I'm not careful. Try and approach it from over here. There we go. Presumably I can get up above this thing. Yeah, there we go. Oh dear, this doesn't look good. The suit's going to break in a second. Yeah, this is where problems occur, because now the suit's broken. I'm stuck on top of a fire-breathing dragon thing, and when it breaks, the only thing you can do is get out of it. But if I get out of it here, I suspect I'm in a high radiation area and I won't be able to. I mean, I don't know what's going on here now. I'm just kind of stuck. So the suit's disabled now, and I can't move anywhere in the suit. But the other problem is I also can't get out of it, because when I try and push left or right to get out of the suit, it says high radiation safety interlock operative, which basically means I'm stuck. I can't go anywhere. That's not great, is it? I think that's not really something that should be happening in a game like this. I've explored quite far and now I've got stuck, and that unfortunately reminds me a little bit of Cauldron, where things just are a little bit too difficult and don't really pan out the way you want them to. That's not really good game design, in all honesty. So all I can really do now is quit the game, and I'm certainly not going to play it again, so I'll quit the game and do the review scores. Back at the title screen then, and let's get on with those review scores. Starting as always with the packaging, which I think is pretty decent for the Silverbird packaging. The front cover image, taken from the original game artwork, blends in nicely with those black and purple stripes, and there's a lot of backstory in the instructions as well. Could be probably a little bit more in the terms of the gameplay instructions, but overall I think the packaging is pretty nice, and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Presentation on the title screen here is obviously really nice. You can see the animation, you can also get the title credits, and the music in the background is really good as well. It's a bit of a shame presentation wise that you don't get to see a high score table, or even the highest score that's been recorded in the game so far. But overall I think the title screen presentation is nice. Also the in-game presentation on that status bar has got lots of detail, and that's nicely done as well. So I'm going to give the presentation an 8. Graphics in-game are all decent as well, very good. There's a few sprites, enemy sprites, that look a bit spectrumy with the single colours, but the animation's really good on everything. The main character sprite is really nice, and the backgrounds are excellent as well. So I'm going to give the graphics an 8 out of 10 too. Sound, the title screen music is decent, and the in-game sounds they do the job. They're pretty nice. You know, they've got a good variety of different sort of shooting and bouncing type sounds. There are a few annoying sounds in there as well, but overall I think the sound's pretty decent. Again, not outstanding, but certainly better than average, so I'm going to give that a 7. And then we get to the playability, and I've got to say this game is very highly regarded by a lot of people, very, very highly rated. I'm a little bit disappointed by it, unfortunately. To begin with, I was quite frustrated by the weird sort of flick screen thing that was going on. I can't even really describe it other than a thing. Just the weird sort of, you go to the edge of the screen, but you actually flicks the screen before you get to the edge of it. Also the respawning enemies is always annoying, so I was quite annoyed with the game to start with, and then I got the suit and got to grips with the suit and got the flying and shooting power-ups, and I thought, yeah, it's actually a pretty decent game now, and the exploration was quite good. But then to like get stuck in an area where you can't get out of the suit but you also can't move the suit is a little bit unforgivable. So yeah, the gameplay a bit hit and miss for me. I think it suffers a little bit from the same problems as the Cauldron games did, where it's just a little bit too hard without you making very good progress. It's definitely not as annoying as those games, but it's still a little bit frustrating. So overall, a little bit less impressed with it than I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 for playability. That gives it a total score of 7.7. I still think it would be worth the $1.99 asking price. As a full price game, I don't think I'd have been that impressed with it, because it does seem a little bit limited and the controls are quite frustrating. But for a $1.99 budget game, I think you'd get your money's worth out of it. I think, having played it a few times now, what it needs is lots of exploration and sort of trying to get to grips with the controls and understand where you need to go in the game to get the right power-ups at the right time. It's one of those games that you probably need to play a number of times and map out, and if you did, you'd probably get a bit more joy out of it than I've got from maybe like 5 games I've had of it or something like that. So yeah, a little bit disappointed with it, but it's not a terrible game, and I think 7.7 as an overall score is about right. So there you go, that's my review of Antiriad, the last of my run through the alphabet backwards. I've now got just 10 games left to review in this series, 2 of which I've not found yet, so I need to find them and then review them. So I'll carry on with another game review soon. If you've got any thoughts about the game, then let me know in the video comments as always, please, and I'll be back with another one in the near future. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.